Dum, girls all over the world, and we can be anything, anything. Yeah. All right, hello everyone. I do not see the stream just yet, but I have to believe you're already there. All right. Girls all over the world, just get on board. Cause I'm a pirate, just let David know. And we can proceed with day 2 of fucking my ass with the code. Not going anywhere until I see David on chat. Then we can proceed. Girls all over the world, and we could be anything, anything. Oh, get away, on me, another fun. Girls all over the world. How can I? There we go. I can do this. Just give me a sec. Girls all over the world. Okay. I was not sure when we did this code open. I didn't wanna leak anything about it. I could actually have a fucking webcam today. No data. Oh, that's great. This should be data suggestion. Okay, yeah, excellent connection apparently. We'll see. Good morning. Hi, David. All right. So, welcome back to the second day of programming in Nuxt. We last time we finished on I believe we finished with favorites kind of animation. As you can see, completely different to what is currently online. So it used to look like this. I'm gonna refresh it to show the animation, so you can see they just pop and they'll just basic fade in one after another. It looks okay, but I wanted to change it, and so we've changed it drastically. So we have background image like sliding in random direction, as well as like very basic data about the game itself. I might add more data later, obviously, because you know we'll get to it, like all the data that we want to show off on the website. It's gonna change, obviously, but that's like a basic format of favorites as a like a sliding animation. So that's that. And today we probably focus on the main section, which is just a list of games that one would one go through and plot. So if I remember correctly, all the data about the game like that we currently have, that currently collect, is the name of the game, obviously, which console family it is was played on. So, for example, in the old version, we only had information about the game being played on PlayStation game, PlayStation console. So it didn't say which PlayStation console, because back then I had only one of them. So I mean, one of them that had trophies. So it made sense, but it got a bit confused, a bit confusing, especially since, for example, this game I played on both PS3 and PS5, and so they look exactly the same. There's no way of actually telling them apart. I mean, apart from the date that was done on. But apart from that, so we got some new data over there. We added like a bunch of console, bunch of consoles, that so you can actually choose which one you played on, not only the family, but the version of the console as well. So instead of just having PlayStation, we've got PS5, PS4, and PS3, and so on. So the data that is currently there is just one image. Here we want at least two. I want different image to be shown here on favorites, and then different image as a portrait photo. So, for example, if you scroll down to this section, the Elden Ring would not have the wallpaper style of Malenia, and instead it will be different photo. So we keep two photos. That's why I call them. That's why where is it? There you go. That's why I call them front image and back image. And so we use front image. We use front image over here, but back image as like in a slider in favorites. And maybe in like when you click on a game, I'm thinking about like having I'm still on the fence in terms of like having the whole my own database of games, and so this image could be a background for like overall information about the game. But we'll think about it. Today we're gonna focus on that, and maybe if we have more time, we'll go through some other aspects. I probably won't focus on backend today, just because it's tiring. It's not a nice. It's not a way. It's not a data that I like to focus on. So, right. Okay, so do we? I'm thinking if we lack some data over here, and if we look here, we don't have the percentage that is like that was achieved. I'm not sure if I wanna add it, because it looks weird. I don't like, for example, when like we have PlayStation games and DLCs don't count towards platinum trophies, so it looks like I didn't finish it. It's like I'm 60%, I'm 40% off. But actually, those 40% are DLCs that like that the platinum trophy is not given to. Like it's not counted towards the platinum trophy. So it just looks weird, like, you know, having those having like no 100% the game. But so for example, in maybe you should show when you hover it, so a bit more hidden. I don't know. I feel like it's redundant. Yeah, that's annoying. Hi, Vic. Yeah, so yeah, I think it's redundant. I really like the whole animation of it. Like, I mean, no, maybe not here. Maybe I'm misremembering projects. But it is a data, but I don't believe it's type of data that it's I don't see a purpose for it over here, because in my when I add the game, for me the trigger to add a game here on the list is either getting a platinum trophy on PlayStation or getting 100% on Steam PC. There are exceptions, like for example Doom. I just got every campaign based or like non multiplayer trophy. But other than that, most likely if you see a Steam or PC game here, it's 100% it with DLCs. I actually usually buy DLCs to 100%. For example, Bioshock 1 and 2. I'm not sure about Infinite. Was it? Did it had DLCs? Maybe. Either way, so I usually get like the unless the console, the platform, offers you an easy mark of like getting a platinum, like platinum in PlayStation consoles. I tend to go for 100% anyway. So it feels redundant. Infinite had some challenges as DLC. Oh, there you go. Yeah. So I think that those like some arena type shit, right? Like the wave, the horde from Gears of War, basically. So yeah. So either way, like I just feel like it's not needed. I might add it later, but for now it seems redundant to me, because it's either a Steam game and it's gonna be 100%, and it's just a dick competition at this point. Like the game is here because you had 100%, or it just reminds me that the game has DLCs and I just fucking decided not to go for them. So it's either redundant because it's 100%, or annoying because it's not 100%. I don't see it like I don't see why it would be here anymore. I'm backtracking from my decision back in fucking 2017 probably. So that's my view on that. So we're not gonna add percentage. Let me think. Yeah, I really want to add filters or sort options, search bar, like filtering and then sorting functionality, because that's something that seems like a logical next step. Because for example, I for some reason didn't add Dark Souls Remastered few weeks back over here, and then now, and because they actually sorted by is that Honeypop I see? No, it's Miss Neko too. I don't think Honeypop has. Does Honeypop has achievements? I know it's on Steam, but not Double Date. I want the first one. Was it now on Steam? I was pretty sure. Still, yeah. Why? I've got fucking slappy ass over here. I'm not gonna hide from. Where is it? I'm not gonna hide my trophies. Am I? Oh, cool. Yeah, it's not here. It's this Miss Tokyo. Yes, I'm Poppy's on Steam. Brother, I'm taking full bottle of holy water next time I see you. Yeah, great. We're like a batch of honor. There you go. Thank you, babe. I can't see it on Steam. Oh yeah, there it is. Google just really didn't. Oh no. Oh, you must be logged in. Okay, yeah, sure, that makes sense. so they sent me a fucking Holy Spirit war. Bro, like as if you manage to get it on Saturday, you know, I can fucking bath in holy water if you really want. I don't give a fuck. Achievements are achievements. Okay, let me fucking, I don't remember. The only issue I have is that it shows up on your like general feed, which I wouldn't be scared of, but I have a minus in my as my Steam friends, and I just don't want them to see me playing, you know, a 18+ game, because that would be weird. One will ask why I have minus as my friends, but oh yeah, they have. Fuck, I probably got them already. But, yeah, okay. Spend all night with all girls without talking with any of them. Oh yeah, that's gonna be fun. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna fucking. Okay, yeah, I have to add it to the backlog to do it later. But for now, okay, let's focus on that. Okay, let's get back to business. We want. So what I'm thinking. We want some overhead navigation bar. So it's like easier to understand where you go, where we are, and to like quickly switch between those two. So I think, but no, yeah, I think we start with the body itself. I'll do header later. Okay, so we need a list, and so now that I think about it, this should be given like from outside, from here. So we move it here with one of these. There we go, and we go here and just fucking remove it from here. We add props so we can pass it from outside, and we give it here. Was it fabulous? Yes. And now we have to add it here. So this fav list is not the same as this fav list. This fav list means this props. So props are basically data that you can data that you can pass from outside of the component into the component. So this fav list, this like the elements in props are seen as variables, and saying and we if we didn't get the colon over here, it would literally send the word fav list inside. But by prefixing the prop with colon, we literally say, hey, this is gonna be a JavaScript code. In this in our example, it's literally just a variable, but it's still a JavaScript code. And this JavaScript and this variable, specifically this one, is the same as here. So this so everything inside data is seen like within this scope, right? And so this fav list actually contains all of this data, right? And the whole list is passed to the fav list inside here, and it's seen within this scope as well. So we just pass the data, you know, we just do like two jumps. Basically, we've got fav list which is here, and then we just pass it later for this one, for this element to go through. So that's the main like the main plan for having, like, because we want to have all the data in one place and just, you know, spread it out all over the components. So the best place to keep all the data in is a file of the file of a page itself. So in our example, the show page. There's also a secondary reason, that is, we cannot get access data on any components. On any component, it just works on page, but that's something that I didn't talk about yet. So just I'll go through it later. Don't worry. So now that I'm thinking about it, do we want? Yeah, we let's go like that. Doesn't really matter. So we have another element here, another list of games, but this time like all the games. So I'm just gonna copy it twice. Copy the games twice. I guess that's gonna be more than enough. And what we want, we want another section component. So just as we had favs to keep favorites in one place, we want a full list that view, for example. Obviously we're gonna use our shortcut to like give us as the basic scope. And here we go full list, and just as with the favs being like sending the fav list, we're gonna do the same here over here. So we just pass through data from here, which is like our full list of games, so an equivalent of all of this, and we just send it, let me see, and we just send it inside this component. And as you might recall, I said that for every like this for every property in our component tag, we need it to be recognized inside. We need the name to be added to the props list, so it knows what data to look for. So that's that. We might start by just checking if the whole list is there and is recognized, you know. And as you can see, in the great way of fucking the great formatting. It's but it's there. It might not be the most readable one, but it passed through. Go away, please. I'm talking. So yeah. That's that. Oh yeah, the one thing I wanted to do over here was here. So we use, by default, we use the back image as a background for our favorites. So here, for example, we have a special image, the back image for Metal Gear Solid, and here we've got the special image for Demon Souls. But sometimes we won't have it. Sometimes there won't be. The client might just not provide a background image, and so we want to add front image over here. Let me double check if that was the naming convention. Yes. So we just want to add here that this literally means back image or front image, which means if there's no back image, use front image. Otherwise, like back image is still a priority, but if there is none provided, it's gonna use front image, and we can actually test it. I'm gonna remove back image from Elden Ring, and as you can see, you can see it's not Malenia anymore. It's just the Elden Ring logo, which is our front image. Yeah, but the rest still uses back images because they have them. So that's the thing. It might not look too good in some situations, but overall it's better to have any image rather than no image. So that's the point. So that's that. Not a big difference over here. That's all of the code from a few days ago, and instead of showing the whole list, we can actually start going through it. Let me just quickly, okay, we keep this as section, and I'm just gonna copy the whole div, the whole for loop, because it's gonna be easier. And instead of fav list, we use game list, obviously. Item and I, keys and I, that's good. It's not a slide, obviously, and it doesn't have a background black. Absolute. No, none of this actually. Yeah, and just, you know what, for now, just show us the title. That's it. And as you can see, it goes through obviously I just copy and paste the favorites twice, but this is the end goal that we want to get today. Like this list, but represented more or less like that. I actually don't like the old way of having the whole fucking padding over here. I think we could potentially use the whole space, but I'm gonna just try it out, see what fits and what looks good. Otherwise, I'm gonna just change it. Okay, so we'll start. So we don't want them to be listed top to bottom like that, right? So to change this into this, we need a grid. So this is basically a grid, right? 4 by however many you have, right? And we want something similar over here, right? I might actually not go for the vertical cells anymore, just because it's really hard. I learned it the hard way. It's really hard to find a good looking but semi-custom and like with no text on it, images for games. So because most of them are horizontal, because most of them are either like screenshots of promotion art or wallpapers, or in general like all of them are made to be seen on a horizontal screen. And so most of them are not like, they look weird whenever rescaled to, or like we cropped actually, when they cropped to the horizontal element. Right? Okay. Do we have, is the chat working? Because I don't see too much of a movement, and I'm just not sure if that's people not talking, or is it like, did it break? Okay, yeah. Okay. Just check. Just making sure. Okay, sure. So let's so I'm my plan is to make him more horizontal, like much closer to being actually 16:9 or something like that. Maybe not that far. Maybe no, 4:3 would be enough. But we'll see. Obviously, we'll see. Especially that we won't have like the whole bar under it, so it doesn't have to be like, it doesn't have to feel vertical anymore. And I'm removing the, how do we, okay, and I'm removing the space on the left and right, the padding over here, so we have more space for the games. Okay, so yeah, so we need a grid, and I'm actually, I don't want to add a grid to the section itself. I'm just gonna put one in like another div above our for loop. Just because it's safer, it's easier then to control the section itself as a whole element without like interfering with it being a grid. So we're separating the section from like anything actually functional. Okay, so let's go. We will start with dessert. You know where dessert? Okay, we start with adding a grid, and grid calls 4. Was that a naming convention for? Yeah, it was. I'm actually proud of myself because I didn't remember. Okay, and let's say let's add a gap of 40 pixels. 32 seems fitting. It's not obvious yet, but I'm gonna change it in a bit. So BG gray, that should be enough, right? Because the gray is, yeah. And as you can see, it goes like it's a grid already, but we want some spacing on the left and right. We don't want it to touch. What the fuck is wrong with the? Oh, there you go. We don't want them to touch like the either left or right ends of the screen, right? So we want to add a padding over here, and we start with padding X because that's the left-right padding. And I think we could potentially go with either 16, so twice as much as gap, or the same as gap. Because if they're related to each other, you just physically, like visually, look more pleasing. So yeah, so as you can see, it feels good. At least like I see it like that. To have this gap being half of the, like, the left and right padding. which looks okay. And now we have we want to actually separate this the gap, the grid itself from the top section. And this is actually the thing that I would this is actually a padding, a spacing that like is based, like it has to it's supposed to separate two sections, right? So that's one section, that's the second section, and we want to separate those two sections. So instead of adding it to the div itself, the grid div, I'm adding to the section, right? Because that's a part of a like it wouldn't change too much, like in terms of how it would look like, it wouldn't change too much. But for me it's more logical to add a section separating padding to the section element, right, instead of like a child element inside a section. So we just go padding top, and I think we go with 16 as well, which is for no, what is it, 4 and then 64. It's 64 pixels because those values are like 4 pixels each. So this is 64 pixels from the top, and we can actually add the same spacing below, so it's easier to like read, because not right now this text like basically touches the end of a screen, like the taskbar. So instead of going PT, which stands for padding top, we go PY, which stands for padding vertical, like y axis. So yeah, and that is already okay. And so now the grid itself is ready. What we have to change now is the visual style of the cells themselves. Cells themselves. So the grid is more or less ready. Obviously we can go back and tweak it, but now we're gonna focus on the individual cell rather than the whole grid. So like I said, I want to keep it more or less like this. Like it looks okay. I really like this one. There's a bit of a cluster data, like I said, the bar over here, the date, the date over here, and the and the PlayStation logo in the corner. It seems a bit too much, but we're gonna remove the percentage bar and we're gonna reshape it. But the whole concept of the title being visible only when you hover on it, I really like it. I still really like it, so I'm probably gonna just reuse it. Okay, let's think. Well, we can actually measure it, this element, and it says that it's 424 pixels wide, and it's gonna be more or less like that on every 1920 screen, as long as it's full screen. So this value we didn't actually ever like set up this value. This value was given just because of all of the data surrounding it. So the grid, we set up the grid to have a padding, to have a gap, and to have 4 columns. And just because the grid itself is full width, so 1920 pixels, this changes the value of this basically sets the whole like the width of every single and every individual cell. So we didn't have to explicitly say, hey, cell be 4 to 4 pixels wide because it's given by the environment that it's in, right? It's all the spacing that he got. So we don't have to actually change anything over here. It's gonna be like that no matter what we do. So that's great. That's fine. I really like it. And so if we want them to be 16 by 9, which is what we go for now, and I might, like I said, I might change it later. But we will start with 16 by 4 to 16 by 9. Sorry, 16 by 9 to see how it looks like. We just want 4 to 4 times 9 divided by 16, and it's 238. And 238 is actually yeah, it's around 60 of, like, it's around 60 in our weird 4 times pixel values. So here we just want to set up this as h60, which means height, and 60 60 Nuxt values, 60 tailwind values, which is 60, which is 4 times 60 is 240 pixels, which is more than like enough to be close to 16 by 9. 16 by 9. So it is more like 16 by 9 right now. Obviously, it's still just a text with a gray background, but now we see how it will look like in terms of spacing and in terms of size of the individual cell. I want to choose something comfortable. Look. Okay, so the first thing we wanna do is actually add a background image instead of the name. And so the basic configuration is basically the same, right? So we just want this. I'm just gonna fucking yoink it. We want this to be black at this point, and here we just want to switch them around, right? So we want to use front image if possible, and then if not possible, we want black image. But other than that, it's basically the same configuration as it used to be. And that's it. See? It's not hard. It's not that hard, is it? You might not be able to tell, but I'm fucking proud of myself. Looks comfy enough. Yeah, it feels really good. It looks cool. Obviously, like, still there's no way I won't fuck it up. Don't worry. You can always go through VODs and you know, that's why we stream on YouTube, because it, like, you know, auto saves VODs as just as watchable videos. Yeah, but other than that, yeah, it looks good, and it's really just a few lines of code. Like today I was trying to add titles again because I did something and I couldn't see them. And well, I still have no clue what I did wrong. I can help you once I finish. I just didn't from the beginning of again. Jesus Christ! You don't waste your time though. Like, if just ask, I'm online. Anyway, Jesus Christ, what a fucking madman. Anyway, so we want a few things, obviously. Yeah, but it won't land if I won't do it myself. Not true, actually. Just not true. Just you. The issue is you feel like if you ask, you don't learn. But if you don't ask, you're gonna spend fucking to spend like 10 times as much time trying to understand what you're doing wrong instead of just asking someone and then, you know, going off with that. Because you like seriously, like the best people in the world had, like, you know, the teachers, and like, you know, there's always the fucking the master student relation in almost every culture. Like whatever you try to learn, if there's someone who already knows it, just ask him for help. There's absolutely no need to keep yourself in, you know, in your own bubble and like try to not, because if you, the is yeah the issue is people tend to think that they're stupid, they ask, but the realization is that if you understand that if you don't ask, you're stupid. So it works the other way. There is a beauty in like persistence and like, you know, trying to get still you didn't ask. You still didn't ask. So yeah. Just and that goes for everything and everyone. If there's an issue and you know that someone might help, just ask for help. This is like, we live in society, so at least fucking use it. At least get something that's get comfortable in it. Like actually, that's actually brain dead to like spend time on your own and waste time. You could play Tarkov. All right, let's get back to business. So we wanted to like scale it up a bit and show like the semi-transparent overlay. We skip the title for now, but we just want this to like once hovered on, just scale up a bit and maybe and then get the semi-transparent overlay. I think I might rather do some more pages in Nuxt over Tarkov. That's good. I mean, that's obviously I can easily support it. But at the same time, you have to remember that your time, like the you have to understand that your time is as valuable as your skill. So if you want to learn it, you might as well if you want to learn something, you might as well learn it fast. Or like, when not fast, because like that sounds like, you know, that sounds like you go over it, like over just the basics. Instead, what I mean is just if you want to learn something, you might as well learn it efficiently, with no time wasted. There's a difference between getting an experience in something and just wasting time looking at something because you don't understand it. You don't gain experience not understanding what the fuck you're doing. You gain experience for every minute you actually do something correctly, or like cover your your mistakes. But and obviously you have to like first hit the mistake to be able to cover it. But if you hit a mistake, like if you hit an issue, look, you make a mistake or whatever, and you waste time not being like not changing anything, like if in an hour of making a mistake you're still at the same fucking point zero, that wasn't an experience gain. That was just time wasted. You might start gaining experience from here, but you might as well just cut the wasting time and start working on a like experience gain from the get-go. So just be efficient. I've added the overlays and they don't seem to work. Or maybe I have to refresh. No, I fucked something. I fucked something up. What the fuck is going on? Oh, I know. Okay, so this. Okay, yeah. So that's actually a fun part. So I copied the same, basically the same like of semi-transparent overlay over here, but the issue is that it moved to the top element instead of staying here, and that's just because we use absolute without having a I'm looking for a word, absolute and relative. No, what? Yeah, relative. So basically absolute seek for the first parent that is not static, and relative is one of the types that like not static but still don't fuck everything over. If you don't know the difference or like the relation between absolutes, absolute, relative, statics, stuff like that, within, yeah, give me a sec. Sorry. Yeah, if you don't know the relations and like the CSS, the CSS logic behind relative and absolute, I'm not gonna go through it because it's one, it's a bit basic, and two, it's actually I don't think it. I believe it would ruin our current train of thought. So I just I might cover it later once we finish it, especially if it's needed. Let me know, David, if you know what we're talking about now, or is it something you need a refresh for? I'm still fucking mad that it doesn't work. Oh yeah, because I fucking put it on the whole fucking grid. I think I know. Okay. All right. Good to hear. All right. So yeah. So this seems fine. The whole overlay, I might like crank it up a bit more later, but for now it's okay. And we want this element to like scale. I think Tailwind actually has Let me open my Tailwind cheat sheet. And here, I think this like scale. Yeah, so there you go. So Tailwind has like scaling for 100% and up, like 105%, 110%, ready for us. So we're just gonna use scale 110 to see if there's a difference. I might need to add. Oh, there you go. It works. Yeah. Okay, so it works as intended, obviously, as we can see, but there's an issue because it scales up and it's visible, like it's visible outside of a box it's in, right? So we want to keep it within the border of a cell. So what we have to do is in the v4 in the for loop div, we just want to add overflow hidden, which literally means that everything that overflows, so goes outside of the boundaries of this element, is gonna be hidden. So it's not gonna be visible. As you can see, it disappeared, but it's still like scaled up. You might be able to tell, for example, the Demon Souls logo is now touching the border, and if we remove it, it's gonna scale down again, right? So that's the basic animation that we want it to go through. We want to make it happen, but only on hover, right? And so, but it's not gonna be like hover one element. It's gonna be the hover the whole, all of this, right? Any of these elements and any other elements that are gonna be inside. If any of them are hovered, we want to go through the hover animation. So Tailwind covers this as well. We don't have to actually write any JavaScript for it. So here we can actually add a group. No, we can just mark this element as a group, and then anything that we want to happen as a result of hovering on it, we add group hover colon. So that means, hey, if the group, which is this element, if anything in a group is hovered, do this. And we want the same thing to be here, and we go opacity 0. So the basic opacity for this element will be 0, and it's gonna be changed only when hovered, right? And let's see. As you can see, it works. Once we hover, it switches to the image is getting properly scaled up, and we getting the we getting the overlay on it. I'm actually, like I said, I'm actually crank it up to 90 instead, and it feels a bit too blue for my liking. I might actually use, because I think I have real black ready up for occasions like that, or not. Let me quickly check. Or is it for some reason light black? Because obviously it's a nice fucking name for it. I'm pretty sure I used real black back in the day. But okay, never mind. Okay, so that looks better. It doesn't look like blue. It looks like actual black. And so now all we want is to make an actual animation of it. For now, it switches like instantly between these two, between being hovered and not. And if you can see in my previous in the previous version, it's a gradual animation between the two positions, and Tailwind covers that as well. So we can say transition, and we actually just have to find the one that covers scale. So that might be a transition transform, because scaling is a part of transformation. So for the photo holder, the one that uses scaling, we want to add transition transform, and let's see if that works. As you can see, it goes like it doesn't. Let me actually hide this so it's gonna be a bit more obvious. Yeah, as you can see, it actually goes through the animation. The animation is a bit too fast for my liking, so we might use a duration of 500, which is 500 milliseconds, so it's half of a second, and just add it here. So this is now much slower. It's actually a bit too slow, so I'm gonna get it down to 300. That's lovely. Okay, and now let's focus on the overlay, because it still snaps to the position. So we want to go with transition opacity, obviously, because it uses opacity as an animation mechanism, and obviously we're still gonna use the same duration, so they fit each other, like the animation. The animation has a fixed timing, and as you can see, it looks very good. I really like it. But obviously we don't want it to just animate. We actually want to show data. We actually want to show data when hovered. We started with just the title, and then we extrapolated to other data. But for now, title is the one that I'm gonna focus on. Okay, so let's go back, and we're actually gonna do basically the same thing that we wanted. We could actually potentially put it here, if we add a text inside the overlay, it's actually gonna show it with it, right? Because the overlay is very technically zero, like opacity 0, so everything inside it is also gonna be not visible. The opacity is 0, so it's completely transparent. Yeah, and as you can see, it works well. So we're gonna go with it. So we're actually gonna use another div. That's gonna be another absolute with top half. So it's gonna be on in the middle. We need to translate it vertically. I might actually show why I'm doing this. Let me just paste it here and keep that in mind. Okay, so left 0 with full, and height's gonna be automatic on depending on font size, so we don't have to actually explicitly tell what height we're using, and we obviously want to show item.title value. So here, this is an item, and this is the title value. So this that should work. Cool. We wanted to we want the text to be shown in the center, and we want the text to be a bit bigger. So I think maybe 48 pixels. That might be too much. Yeah, it's a bit big. So I'll go with 8, which is 32 for now. And obviously we want it to be a bit bolder. So we go text bold, and here it seems fine. It seems very good. But you might actually see that it feels to be low. It's not like vertically aligned, right? And that's because whenever we say top 50% or T or top where is it? There you go. Whenever we say top half, or in CSS understanding top 50%, you might actually see that. Let me mark it or not. Obviously, okay, great. I can't mark it in. If you look closely, I'm gonna move it here. If you look closely, the what's vertically centered is not the element itself. It's the top border of the element. So the top border of the of the element itself, the top line, the most top point of it is vertically centered within the box that it's in. So within the image, right? And that's because we just say how far from the top the element should start. So if we say that's how the top value in CSS work. So if we I'm gonna make it a red background or not, because it doesn't work for some reason. Of course, yeah. Let me make it hovered or not. Am I missing something? There we go. So to make it easier, I made it red, but it actually looks good. It actually looks like something that Nintendo would like. Nintendo would mark their games this way with the Switch. So if we say top 0, this means set the top bar, right? Yeah. So if we say top 0, we say set the top part of this element as a top part of a 0 pixels from the top of a box, right? And if we go 10 pixels, right? So this spacing over here, this is 10 pixels, right? And so if we can go 10%, and this space over here is 10% of the height of this element, right? So the element itself is like 240, and if we go here within computed and read the top value, is 24 pixels, which is 10% of 240 pixels, right? And so that's why if we say let's set the top part of it at 50%, it's not gonna set up the whole element at 50. It's actually gonna set up the it's actually gonna set up the top part, the top border of this element at 50% of a parent element. That's why we need to after that, because that's okay, but after that we want to say, we need to say to it, now let's move this whole element 50% of its own height to the top, right? And so if we go transform translate y, because it's a y at a vertical movement. If we go, for example, right, if we go 10 pixels, you can see that we moved 10 pixels from the position that we had. I can set it back here to make it more clear. Now we're at the very top of this element, and now with 10 pixels off, but not by saying move it, like not changing the top value, but instead saying to this element to move itself, right? And the difference between those two, because they're very similar, but the difference between those two is that this time, if we here say 50%, it's not gonna move 50% of the parent height, it's gonna move 50% of its own height. So if I set this one to 0, and we said to move down 50%, but if you imagine this space is exactly half of this its own height. So this element is 40 pixels height, and if we go here and ask what actual pixel value, you can see the matrix might be a bit hard to read, but this value here basically says 20 pixels, and 20 pixels is exactly 50. It's actually 50% of 40 pixels. So that sounds like something we like. That sounds alright. That sounds like what we expected. If I set up top 20 and remove the transform, it's gonna be in the same position as when transform is active and the top is 0. So as you can see, it is 20 pixels moved. And this positioning is depending on its own height. So if I change height to 80 pixels, you can see that it actually moved down. Like the top border actually moved down as well, because the 50% value of the shift that it does changes with it, right? And we use it because if we set up 50% positioning from a top and then set it to move up 50%, so it's negative 50%, it's gonna be centered, because this line over here goes 50%. This line over here goes 50% down in terms of the height of a parent, and then 50% up in terms of its own height. So the 50% mark of a parent is actually in the middle of the element itself, right? Hope it makes sense a bit, at least a bit. It might not be as obvious as I just make it seem like it. Like I talk about it like it's easy to understand, but I assume it might not be as easy as I make it sound. But and basically for exactly top minus 50% of the transform translate, negative 50%, the tailwind has basically this command. So this dash over here at the very start means that's gonna be a negative value. Then we say what's we trying to change. So we try to change the translation of it, right? Moving it, and then like which axis, which is y, and then what the value, which is half, which is 50%. So this basically means translate it over y axis with a value of 50% negative, right? So that's exactly the same thing as we just added in CSS, but added in Tailwind instead. Okay, so as you can see, all of it works fine. It feels very fluent. It feels very nice. I'm not sure how much of an animation, like how much is visible on the stream itself. I hope it's fluent because it's supposed to stream games actually. After all, so yeah, but yeah, that seems alright. That seems fine. Okay, great. Good to hear it. Okay, so now we might actually want to add the console logo and the time. Although I actually think, because I'm actually very ill. I'm actually very sick in the head, and so for example, I platted few games multiple times, which means that there are situations when like this, when there's MGS5 over here and MGS5 over here and possibly MGS5 down there, because I didn't finish it on Steam yet. I mean, I didn't start it. I've got it installed, but I didn't start it. And there's a chance that I'm gonna plat it for the first time. And for this occasion, I actually think it would be funnier, if it would be cool, if instead there would be a list of consoles that you plat it on, and instead of having one date, it's gonna be it's gonna like switch, so that you show the date over here, but if you hover on any of these icons, the value would change appropriately. So for example, if there would be like two PlayStation logos, because for PS3 and PS5, the basic one would be the oldest one, because that makes sense, because like that's the first time you did it. And then you hover on either of these, and this value changes depending on which one you hovered on. So that's my thinking. The issue with it is I would need some way of tracking for basically for the same game within the system, because the computer can tell that this element and this element is the same. Like we can potentially, for example, compare the name, but if I use Metal Gear Solid V as it 5 here, but would accidentally go with Metal Gear Solid 5 over here, it would be seen as two different games, and that's technically fine. Like it sets the if I want them to be counted as the same game, it's on me to make sure that they have, like, for example, the same title. But it feels like it would be easier to have a like a list of games that you already added, and just choose, like you can add new or just re-add the game that you already went through. And I can actually extrapolate it to keeping all the games that anyone added, because remember this is actually publicly available technically. There are multiple people that can potentially use it. And so if, for example, I finished Metal Gear Solid 5, the other person doesn't have to add Metal Gear Solid 5 on their own. They just look it up in our database, see that Metal Gear Solid 5 is already there, choose it, and the proper name is the proper name is already added. Both front and back images are already added. It gives you the consoles only. It shows you only the consoles that it was released on. And so much of the work is already done. And obviously someone might not like the image that it was chosen by someone else. They're free to add the game as a separate entity, and then we'll have like multiple, or maybe it will still be seen as the same game as the one that the other person added, but just with custom images, or like custom title or something like that. And if we want, so there's like the difference, like there's a scale between it being a database and all of the data is already there and you cannot change anything, and the full customization of all of it. And I want it to be as customizable as possible. So if someone doesn't like the fucking title that is set as, they can change it, or like they can add a description of their own. And so if all of the values that are visible to the user have to be customizable, the only way to make sure to iterate between the value between the games, to basically give them make sure that the same identity, is to give them an identificator, so basically an ID number, right? And so I think the easiest way would be to give it to like set it up so here every game has like ID 1, ID 2, ID 3, and even if those values are different, as long as the ID is the same, it's gonna be it's gonna be seen as the same game. That's my reasoning. Do you want me to go through it again, or was it like understandable? I can watch it again, yeah. I guess. Okay, so I'm gonna add IDs to these games. So And here I'm gonna change it so it's ID4, and I'm gonna use some other game that I already. Let's go with Ghost Runner. Oh great! I fucking really like it. Okay, let's just type it, Ghost Runner. Obviously the image is still fucked up. Was it ST just for? I think it was just ST, right, for Steam. Yes. And here I added PS5, but it's gonna be still an ID2, so the same ID as here. You can see it here. And here we're gonna use ID5, right? These IDs are very much like, you know, just these IDs are very much arbitrary, right? So they're not I just add them like that as a basically as a fuck, I don't remember what I wanted to say. As an example, as just arbitrary values that we're gonna use to go through it. Okay, so the plan is make this value a bit different than the previous one. I don't know. Wait. Oh yeah, good. That's actually gonna be a good challenge. Okay, so I changed it a bit somehow. I'm not sure what date it is, but it's gonna be a bit different than this one, at least that. Yes, it's gonna be a bit different. And so as you can see, all of the game list games have the ID with different. They have different ID apart from two instances of MGS5, right? I'm actually gonna let me just quickly go through. Let me just quickly grab that and remove the back and just replace it with this. That'll still work. And was the other one Ghost Runner? So we're gonna use this as a placeholder for the proper values. For now, you should work for now. Yeah. So as you can see, it's Ghost Runner and Untitled. So these two are the same, and the other ones are different, right? And we want these two to actually collapse into into one. So I'm actually, it actually might be easier to collapse them when the game is added rather than where the game is presented, when the game is viewed. So instead, why is a fucking, oh my god, fucking Justin Bieber playing in the background? There you go. Back to K-pop. Pog. Hi, Kath. How's the day going? I'm just I'm just programming my, like, rewriting my own my old project into new environment, so the nerdy stuff. All right, so yeah, I think so. It would be cool if instead of having like this, if this would be, for example, if we have a list of iterations for this one, and it would just go like this. So instead of having as a separate values, we're gonna have as a list. So the element would change depending on whether or not there's multiple instances of the same game. Good so far, and how's it take on? Mine's great. I actually slept a bit late today, but apart from that, it's great. I've been playing games and programming, so I'm fine. I'm really good today. All right, so yeah, so that feels obviously there's no need for multiple, like for multiple for multiple images, because they all showed as one cell, right? And so as one block. So there's no need for this to be iterated. So we can move it back here. And the same goes for title. The title, there's just one title. So only I'm gonna change it to list, just list. Yeah, so yeah, so that seems fine. That seems like a way of going through it with the mind that we might potentially finish the same game multiple times. So this is how the data is being presented, or like being held as when the game is finished once. Or we could potentially just shit. Yeah. Not this one though. We could potentially extrapolate that to absolutely every to every element, even if the game was finished once. Even if the game was finished once, we might want the we might still want to keep it this way, so it's easier later to add another values in here, right? Okay, so yeah, so that's the way I'm gonna go with it. It seems like a fine compromise between what we were talking about before. Seems fine. Seems great. I'm not sure what to do with the fave list. Although here, once we actually have the IDs added here, we could potentially in the fave list, fav, because it's favorites, fave. No, fuck. We could potentially just hold just the IDs of the games instead of the whole games. No, because it's gonna be harder to get the data from this way. We're gonna just copy and paste the iteration of what we have here over here. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, we're just gonna copy and paste all of that and replace this with that. Boom boom shaka. I think it's gonna be easier to keep the list keep the list within the element sorted by the date, because it's gonna show them like left to right from the oldest one to the newest one. So it's gonna look better this way. So, okay, that's it for now. It's gonna break a bit. Yeah. So the date disappeared, obviously. So it's not visible, and the actually the console disappeared as well. So what we want here in the favs, we want to we just want to get all the data that were previously stored over here. These data used to be here. We just want to get the first element of a list and get the data from there. So that's not gonna be too hard. So for example, instead of item console, it's actually item.list at 0, 0, which is the first element of a console, and that's actually gonna make it work again. See? Yeah, it's back online. Right. Okay, so that's that, and obviously we want to add more than one element over here. I might still use the same, like, oh no, because it's gonna be visible only. Huh. Now I'm thinking about it. What if this would say, like, it would be a number of 2, for example, until you. No, maybe not. That seems like it goes the wrong way. I'm overthinking it. It's already a fucking mess. Like it's already a lot. So let's not make it even more complex. Okay, let's go for it. So here we back and full list. I'm actually gonna copy that, I guess, over here. It's obviously gonna be another absolute. I cannot yeah, that's okay. That's not necessary. And here that seems okay. And we have to actually position it top 0 and right 0, so it's top right corner. This is not needed. And here we actually gonna have another v4 because we're going through all games, so the whole list. So v4 item I in no, you can't. We have to go like console I in item, because we already have the word item used here. We don't want to shadow one. That was item.list, right? Yeah. And obviously key is okay. So the thing is, if we have the key being oh yeah, it's supposed to be J as well. We don't want to hide this one either. So if we use a key over just a value 0, 1, 2 and so on over here, we might not want to use it to do it here. So instead we go with console and then J. So it's gonna be console 0, console 1, console 2 instead of just 0, 1, 2 like over here. That's a minor thing. The key value is just used by Nuxt to know which element is which. in a so we can like, you know, properly replace them when changed. So it's actually necessary to add a key value here, and it's for the key value to be different, at least within the component that you're working on. Okay, so we're gonna use this. No, wait. So console. It's just gonna be console, I think. No, it's gonna be console.console, right? Yes. And I'm actually gonna get this. No, it's okay. Yeah, so we just want this to be within this element. That's it. I think that's it. Hey, there you go. It says PS5 and PS3, and the rest says the only one value that we already added. So that's good. That's great. We want it a bit bigger, obviously. So let's say twice as big, and we want a bit of a padding. So we just add, you know, padding 4, something like that. It's a bit too much, so the padding smaller and the text smaller. Still a bit too big. Let's go with text 5, I guess. And actually we're gonna use padding X and padding Y. Like we're gonna set a horizontal vertical padding a bit different. Since the cell itself is horizontal, it's gonna look a bit better if the horizontal padding is a bit bigger. Maybe not that big because it's twice as big right now, but it's like noticeably bigger. So as you can see, this feels more even than when it was 2:2. Maybe actually bigger gap between them, so they feel like separate instances. Okay, so we go here 4 and here 3. That's alright. That's okay. It could still be better, but obviously we're not gonna focus on that too much. At least for now. Okay, and to even it up, we actually gonna add a date over here. Let's add another absolute element with, obviously it goes bottom 0, left 0s, because, you know, this time it's bottom left. And for now, let's go with the same font size. And here, it's actually gonna say, it's actually gonna say the same, like, let me just change song in the background. I don't think you actually can hear the song anyway, because I mean YouTube can't, because they didn't catch that I use copyrighted song just yet. But it doesn't matter. All right. I played silent enough for him to may not catch on that. It doesn't matter if they fucking copyright strike it. It's just a programming stream. Okay, and so here, what was I saying? So here we want, as a default, we want the first value from the list, which is, for most of the game, it's the only value in the list. But for games with multiple platinum trophies, we want the oldest one to see, because it shows how far, you know, how fun how old this achievement is, basically, right? How that you if you done it yesterday, it's a bit overshadowed by the fact that you also did it 2 years ago, right? So the 2 years ago one would be a priority. Was it just date? Yes. Okay. And so you can see here it says, obviously it uses the Unix timestamp value instead of an actual one, and that's because we don't have this method yet. And that's it, and we can actually just copy it here and paste it and reuse it, because we already made one, yeah, the last stream. As you can see, it works fine. Obviously, going with same padding again, that's gonna be fine. There you go. I'm actually thinking if I prefer it top left and bottom right instead of, so it goes this way instead of this way, and I think I'm actually try it. I think it's okay. I think it looks better this way. Well, I'm not sure. I'll leave it like that, and we'll see. We'll see. We'll see if I change my mind. I might not. Okay, so that's that. That's the listing. Actually, I could potentially just finish here, because I've done what I hoped for. But I would actually like to add a small detail of changing this date if you hover on a specific logo, because these behind those console logos there are different dates, right? So we just want to like snap different value here once you hover on a specific icon. And obviously it's gonna do the same thing for like the games that have only one playthrough added, but it's not gonna change anything because this value is already the value that is like added to this one, so it's gonna be the same one, but the logic behind it will still follow, right? Okay, so what we want is we want to add a on hover method. So let's go on logo hover. That's gonna be enough, and we have to send the information on what game it is, like which game we currently changing. And let me think. And which element in the list, like which icon on the list we hovered on, right? So that's the game, and that's the game index, and that's the icon index. That's gonna be more than enough. And we actually gonna add the same values over here for these two for loop diffs, just to make it easier for us to like catch this, like to be able to change the proper value. Because I can be myself. It would be better to potentially have a value that says like that over here, that says like, you know, show date 0, and it's gonna, and since we could just change this, all of that would change automatically. And you know what? That's actually a way of doing it. Or we don't actually have to. We don't even have to add it here. Yeah. We don't actually even have to add it. We're just gonna add it automatically once we hover on it. So if there's no value, we assume it's supposed to be 0. So let's just console log our game list, game index, and icon index. Or maybe the game list, we want to console log it separately because that's gonna be a long list. So let's do that. And obviously we have to add the hover. And obviously the game index and the icon index is basically this I value from the game list iteration and this J value from the console iteration. So that, basically those values were always here. We already been using it. Okay, let's see if that works. Let's see if that goes through all of it. I'm gonna add it here, and here it doesn't say anything just yet. What is it? Oh yeah, probably still having some console log over here. See if I find it. Obviously here. Okay, so that's not needed anymore. We finished working on that. Okay, and so this is a game, and if we hover here, absolutely nothing happened, and I'm mad. What's going on? Was it at mouse over instead of at hover? At mouse over, yeah. Sure. Whatever the fuck you say. Yeah, there you go. It doesn't work. Okay, yeah. The only thing I just need to because the game list doesn't exist within this method. It's like outside of it, right? It's within the whole element. So I have to say that we want to like get it from the parent object. Yeah, there you go. It actually works twice for some reason. We don't want it. Okay. It seems like it does the thing twice, which is not what we want. Maybe it's mouse enter, because like enters the space. We don't want to do it like more than once, because that's redundant. It seems okay now. As you can see, this 0 means the first game, and this 0 means the first value over here, right? And once I change it to Metal Gear, what? Oh, I moved here. Yeah. So here we've got 1 0, which is second game, first icon, and then second game, second icon, which seems to be working. And all we want to do, so here we want to say if the item has a value of show date, use it, or if not, just use 0 instead. So for like the default, by default, this this item that show value show date doesn't exist, so it's gonna use the 0, 1. This, as you can see, just shows the very first date instead. But here, what we actually want to do, apart from like saying stuff, we actually want to go to the game list and get the game from the game index, and then get to the list within it. Oh no, not within the game, the list. We want to set show date as the icon index. That should be it. That's literally just one line. And it doesn't work. That's great. That's cool. Cool. Okay, I'm actually curious if that might be a thing that fucks it up. That the fact that we no. Cool. Let me try to work on that. There might be actually a bit more to be done then. So the show date is set to be 1 every time for some reason. Do I use it incorrectly? Give me a second. Okay, so this one, it's it's undefined at the beginning, and then it sets to 0. And once it sets to 0, it's still 0. And here it's undefined and it sets to be 0, and then it used to be 0, and then we change it to 1, and now it's still 1, and now 1 to 0 here, but this value doesn't change. Okay, can you actually tell me this? What would this be? Like if you want to change something. There you go. That might be an issue. So I guess this, right? This is an item. Okay. Cool. Items not defined. What's going on? Oh yeah. Oh my god. That's gonna be a lot. That's a long line. Yet again. Okay. Yeah. So this should be 8,000, not 6,000. But it doesn't change it for some reason. You know what? Yeah. I think it would be easiest to keep it like that instead, and we go what? Wait. There, remove this. Wait. We want this to be value from the list. Yes, so we want to copy this, and we go within and we take the date out. How about this? would this work? Remove this and okay, would this work? So here we actually am I stupid? I mean it changes correctly. Why doesn't that's the very first time I see that it I know why. Okay, yeah. Yeah, okay. Wait, give me a second. Next, no. View set. Give me a sec. Yeah, I know why. Both of those, both of the things that I did. Can you fucking stop? Go away. I don't like you. Okay. Yeah. So the show date isn't seen by Nuxt as a part of all of it because I didn't add it here. And why I didn't add it here? Because I fucking thought that it's gonna do it itself, but it didn't. Okay, so all of them have to have like the show date value. And we're gonna actually just get back to the previous iteration of this solution. This should do the trick. Yeah, as you can see, the value. Yeah, it has to like because we added because the show date variable doesn't exist, and so it doesn't know that we added it. We did just flies over the Nux's head. And now that it's there from the get-go, it actually knows what to do with it. So that's okay. That's fine. So we just have to keep. We just have to like add the show date value to all of them. I mean, we might actually. Because it's not. We don't want to keep it within the database. That's the thing. So that's the thing that is usable. The show date is usable only on the front end. So it should not be added to the database itself. We're actually gonna add a method that adds it automatically before pushing it further. Oh, there is the game list and okay, methods add show date. Right, that was the name of it. Game list. Oh, even yeah, it's okay. Or just list, okay. And just we can just iterate and add the value as 0. That should still work. And now all we have to do is here, before sending it over, just say, hey, add show date before it, so we don't have to add it manually every time. That should be enough. Let's see, because I've already been proven wrong once. Yeah, it doesn't work. I might actually change this back to this form. No, it doesn't work. Good stuff. Good stuff. That feels great. I love when something doesn't fucking work. It has show date. Add it. Do it. So you shouldn't have an issue with it. Is it proper? Yeah, same. Pum 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 pum. Did I? It starts with this value. That's a conundrum. I don't know why it does that. Yeah, we might want to add this value later when we get. For now, I'll just add it like this, and I'll just keep in mind that might potentially need to revisit it later. For now, I'll just leave it like that, as long as it works. Ah, shit. Remove this. Okay. It still doesn't work. What the fuck? Wait, what? Did I break it? What happened now? Or is this a... No, it's just... No way. No way it's the same date. Great. Sure. Why not? Fucking... Now it's gonna be different. Yeah, okay. Alright. Well, fuck that. That wasn't as smooth as I hoped for. But sometimes it's the name of a game, right? Sometimes it's how it is, and you have to fucking deal with it. Okay. Is anyone still there? Is anyone still in the chat? I'll actually change this color of this before we finish. Yeah, I think I'm gonna finish in a minute. Like I said, I might change the color of the scroll bar before, because it's orange. It like my previous project. Yeah, and I feel like this one was it wasn't as long as the previous one, but I think it might be a bit heavier. Yeah. Did you? All right. Let's get this. Yeah. I was about to ask something, but let's keep it. Let's keep it on DMs. Yeah. Here in abstracts, we actually want to add to change this. Let's actually get this blue, like the bottom blue, because that's it's obviously a gradient. But fuck, Jesus, just let me fucking copy, please, thank you. Okay, now I'm actually gonna just reuse it for these ones, I guess. It's gonna be blue, I think. Okay, and same goes for the tailwind config. Here, instead of orange, we're gonna have blue, and it goes here. So that's that, and we actually have to set it up over here as well. So here and here goes blue, and there you go. And as you can see, the scroll bar is blue, just like we want it. We could actually potentially, very potentially, we could actually set this one to black as well, like, because I think yeah, it uses the black that I wanted. And so now it's a blue. I actually like it. Now it's a blue it's a blue scroll bar on a black, on a like almost black background, which fits the whole site. Yeah, it looks good. All right, yeah, that's almost it. Actually, that's almost like most of the stuff I wanted to add. Obviously, I think I'm gonna do it off stream, but I'm gonna move all of this data here, so we can fuck around with more values. We might want to see how it looks like. But for now, I'm very proud of it. I especially like the favorites section, which is gonna fucking look good when added, when I add actual games here. And this looks fine as well, very much so. There's still a bit of work to do. Like I said, I want the search bar, filtering, sorting options. But apart from that, that's almost it. I mean, that's almost it from the front end point of view. Obviously, there's still a lot in the back end to do, including a page for adding, for editing your data. But I think I'm gonna set up the hub, at least half of the backend off stream as well, because I'm gonna just copy values from here to the additional backend that I'm gonna have here. So yeah, looks like professional websites, like if someone actually paid for someone to make design for it. Yeah, I'm really glad it looks like it. Like I mean, technically it is a professional website, since I'm actually that's not actually my job, so it is but yeah, but Yeah, I'm glad it has this vibe of being like professional. It looks like something that would be yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, it looks like something that would be like, you know, on a the like the gaming media website, right? Like I said, I'm making it a bit harder because, you know, all of this and stuff. It's probably hard to understand what's going on, but once you get it, it actually makes sense. Actually, yeah, all of it actually works very well. PC Gamer should hire you to remake the shitty website. I'll be completely honest. I haven't been on PC Gamer in a while, so I'm not even sure how bad it is. Let me see. Obviously, I've got a UK site. I agree. Thank you. Yeah, it looks very 2010s, right? There's no animations. That's good technically, because we don't want it to be. Uh, does it? Oh no, it does not switch. I hoped for. Yeah. Uh, technically, it is good because it works on all the devices, which is what you want if there's potentially. Looks very 1002. I mean, I've seen the you know, 1000 years scrolls. It looks a bit more modern than like, you know, uh, pre-medieval scrolls, but yeah, sure. um, yeah, but it looks off. It looks weird. Um, it could have been redesigned. That's for sure. Sure. Yeah. That's I love uh I love the fact I've seen few games of Fortnite with oh I'm sorry. Like I'm pretty sure that Balespa probably been scrolling through that when he was taking Shespotsky in Kies. Jesus, because that was a hard one to read. Uh, sure, yeah, maybe. I don't know. He was. You think he was gaming? You know, right after the Shespotsky. Anyway, so I saw a few games in Fortnite, like the no building mode, and like it feels like a ordinary uh shooting game, which is better than Fortnite actually. Like it feels. I I I I think that was the biggest problem for me in Fortnite, that, you know, every time you see a an enemy, you just start fucking building a whole fucking Eiffel Tower. Uh, yeah. Oh, you think he was gaming during Chespotsky? Like that was maybe that was actually the Ches itself. That you actually just cranked, you know, 10 kills in Fortnite. Yeah, I can build twin towers. Yeah, and hindsight, yeah, that's actually a very bad plan to hide inside twin towers. They tend to fucking drop. You know, they tend to collapse. So Jesus Christ. I mean, I like it fits the single player mode, but who the fuck played the single player mode in Fortnite? because I really like the building aspect itself by itself, but it doesn't fit battle royale. That's the issue. Yeah, yeah, the best priest for Poland tournament. Yeah, exactly. All right. Yeah, I think I'm gonna head out. That's it for now. I hope you liked it. I hope you learned something from it, or at least it was enjoyable. I know there was a point where I was like really fast about it, but at the same time, it's really hard to like hit the brakes every time to make sure that like it's getting slow at some points. So and I want to finish it moderately fast anyway. Yes, for sure. I will for sure ask you. So, if I don't get something, that's great. That's good to hear it. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, there's a lot. There's a lot to go through, and it's easy this way to to just ask if not if not obvious. All right. That's it. See ya. I'll be completely honest. Oh, okay. I didn't see that. Yeah, he asked me.